friends, welcome to the platform of Darshanik. This is Akshay Kadam. So guys, today on this platform of Darshanik, we are going to discuss one sample question, model questions from ethics paper. So guys, we are discussing the ethics, administrative ethics part. And in administrative ethics, guys, we are discussing concept of ethics and values in public administration, ethical elements in governance, aptitude and foundational values for civil service, or implementation of higher values. Now under these topics, guys, aptitude and foundational value, ethical elements in governance, elements of good governance, we have in our app classes have already discussed lot of values. Okay, so we have discussed about integrity, probity, objectivity, economy, efficiency, effectiveness, impartiality, political neutrality, dynamism, strategic leadership, innovative leadership, transformational leadership, dedication and commitment, professionalism, okay, and many more values. And then two important concepts that you should know, the ethical elements in governance that we were discussing, was discretionary power in governance and conflict of interest in governance. Okay, so in our app classes we have already discussed this discretionary power concept in detail. Okay, so in this lecture and conflict of interest we will discuss as we go ahead in our app classes. So guys, in this lecture I'm going to discuss one sample question regarding discretionary power. So if question comes, how you need to frame answer to that question. So this I wanted to discuss with you. So let's discuss this part. So guys, under discretionary power, I wanted to discuss with you one model question and how you need to frame answer to that question that I'm going to discuss with you. Now in this question, model question, I will discuss with you how to introduce any ethics question. Then while addressing main body, how you need to focus on the core concept, how to use value loaded key terminologies, and how to add charts and conclude this answer effectively. So guys, to discuss this answer writing with you, I have taken one simple question from administrative ethics part of the syllabus, that is discretionary powers in administration, discretionary power in governance. So in public administration, this concept of discretionary power is very important, and so it has both the sides that we have to give discretionary power, because if we don't, it will lead to a lot of problems. But when we give discretionary power, it comes with the other side of the coin, that it is it can lead to abuse if it becomes arbitrary or get used arbitrarily. So UPSC might ask you a question that discretionary powers in governance is necessary evil. Critically analyze. Okay, so discretionary power in governance is necessary evil. Critically analyze. So how you need to frame answer to this question? So first of all, guys, okay, there are 40-45 suffixes that UPSC uses generally in any question. So you need to understand that suffix, its significance, its meaning. Okay, so whenever UPSC asks you the word critically analyze, then guys, whenever there is a critical analysis, then you have to think about the question from all possible sides. But there may not be multiple sides involved, but at least the sides that are mentioned in the question, okay, you need to focus on. So what basically I mean, so question says generally whenever there is a critical analyze word, you have to analyze that statements both the sides, at least minimum. So discretionary power is a necessary evil. So here critical analysis may, you need to focus on discretionary power. What is discretionary power? What its significance? What it is all about? Okay, why we give it in administration. Then focus on word evil, that why discretionary power is evil, how it reflects in administration in evil form. Then also there is word necessary. Then also discuss that side of the question, that though it is evil, why it is necessary, what are its advantages, why we can't do away with the discretionary power, though it is evil, why we can't do away with that, why we need discretionary power. And then in the end, okay, you need to provide the solutions to this. And so in solution you have to provide some steps that how, though it is evil, but because it is necessary, we have to balance it out. And then you can go to the conclusion part. Now, so introduction with definition. So generally, guys, you have to you have very limited words to answer. So in that case, guys, don't go about then explaining or introducing the question. Rather, make your definition of what is discretionary power as the introduction. Begin your answer with the definition itself, the keywords. So whatever keywords are there, you need to define in the beginning. But I told you, you need to have extreme clarity of thought. This is not any 10-12 ka exam, this is the UPSC ka exam. So no beating around the bush, to the point you have to hit and write all the concepts. Okay, the way PubAd ka student will write, Pol Science ka student will write. You need to have clarity of thoughts, and in definition, some keywords, they should reflect, okay, in your answer. So introductory definition, I will give you the model answer, then I will discuss discritionary powers definition with you. Then why is it evil and why is it necessary? This is the core part of the answer. Now here, because you have limited words, you have to write answer, then try using the charts, explain this through the charts. Okay, and so why is it evil? I will add chart here. Why is it necessary? I will add chart here. Then some pointer forms I will answer steps to ensure that how it doesn't become evil, or what steps Indian government has already taken to stop it from becoming evil, and then I will conclude or will try to balance it out. Now guys, because I am discussing this model answer with you, okay, I will be bit elaborative with you to give you a comprehensive understanding, but while writing answer, you just have to shorten it and present in less words as possible. So introduction with definition, that we will begin with. So guys, whenever we discuss discretionary power, why we have to give this discretionary power? So because guys, rule of law and rule of men, this is a very famous debate in political science from the times of Aristotle and Plato. So Aristotle talk about rule of law, Plato talk about rule of men, and to balance it out, we have come up with the solution of discretionary power, because we can't define law for every situation. So where law ends, discretionary power starts. So discretionary power, first important point you should introduce in your answer, in your definition part, that it is not defined by the law, it is not regulated by the law. Discretionary powers don't come under the purview of the law. Okay, discretionary powers start where law ends, and this power, that's why, is given, open-ended power given to the bureaucrat to deal with the circumstances, to deal with the situations which could be dynamic, which could be innovative, for which there is no protocol or precedence. So here he is allowed to use his conscience, and using that conscience, he is supposed to take a discretionary decision based on discretion, where he can interpret the law, okay, take decision based on his judgment, take decision based on circumstances. But then why we are giving him this power? Because we are giving this open-ended power. We are giving that open-ended power because of one reason, that he is not some Tom, Dick and Harry. He is person selected by UPSC or State Civil Services exam. He has proved his talent. He has proved his ability to use discretionary power in a good way. And so, okay, he is an enlightened bureaucrat selected through these exams. So because that person has a positional authority, he represents that post. So discretionary power is given to that post that he represents, and he came there through a lot of hard work, through exams and all. So means he will be able to use discretionary power in a good possible way for ensuring good governance. And so the core important part in definition of discretionary power is it is not defined by the law, and it is entrusted or given because of the positional authority that person enjoys. Okay, so it is the authority given to the position. So these two words are very important, that should come in your definition. So that's how I will just quickly introduce this 30-40 word this concept. So discretionary powers in governance refer to the authority granted to the government officials. Authority granted to government official, but what kind of authority? Which is not defined by the law. To make a decision or take action based on their judgments. Based on their judgment, they have to take a decision. And I told you the famous quote of Justice Chandrachud, I judge without being judgmental. So while using judgments, they need to be extremely using their conscience while taking decisions. So based on their judgments and interpretation of laws, taking into account specific circumstances. So by using interpretation of the law and taking into account specific circumstances, we can, this discretionary power is given. Okay. So discretionary powers are not explicitly prescribed by law. So these words you have to underline, not explicitly prescribed by law, but are rather granted based on the inherent positional authority. Okay, so these two words are very important in definition, not prescribed by law, not explicitly defined by law, and are granted based on the positional authority. And that's how I will swiftly introduce. So no beating around the bush, to the point. Authority given to the person, okay, to use his judgment and interpret the law, or use his judgment and take situation into consideration and take the decision. And this power is not defined by the law, given because of positional authority. Okay, very sharp, crisp, to the point. All your argument should be no beating around the bush. Okay, you don't give examiner vibe that I don't know the answer, so I'm just filling the words. Every word you throw, he should give you one extra mark. Okay, so then discretionary power may, why it is evil, or how it can turn evil. The next part you have to continue now. So discretionary power turning into an evil. So you can just write some subheading, or when and how discretionary power can turn evil, dot dot, then write 4-5 points. So here I told you, you can add a chart. Okay, so discretionary power may, guys, it can turn evil if it is used in an arbitrary manner. It is used in a vague, it is used without any proper data, or without rationality taken into account, without taking into account the rational database or some quantifiable parameters, without based on merit or objective parameters. If it is used, then it becomes arbitrary, it becomes vague, and it turns evil. So exercise, whenever you are exercising discretionary power, okay, it is not supposed to be arbitrary manner. It should not turn arbitrary, vague and fanciful. But whenever you are using discretionary power, it should be in a legal and regular manner. Okay, and so it can become curse for the country if it transforms into arbitrariness, vagueness, it turns into partiality, etc. So then here you can add the charts. Okay, that how discretionary powers turn evil, or problems of discretionary power, why it turns into evil. So here, if a person started to use discretionary power in an arbitrary manner, not on based on quantifiable parameter, objective parameters, then how it will turn evil, what problems it will create for administration. So first, inequitable treatment. In good governance, equality and equity are very important pillars. And so an article 14-15 starts with equality and equity. So, but if people started to use discretionary power in biased manner, as per their whims and fancies, then obviously first attack will be, you won't be treating people equally. He will give contract to the person, okay, that is related with you, etc. So it leads to impartiality in governance. It will create turn into nepotism. It will attack on fairness, because fairness in administration automatically deals with the impartiality. So fairness and impartiality are very strongly related, and so it impacts fairness, it impacts impartiality, it leads to nepotism, it creates patronage. Okay, it leads to impact on equality and equity. So write this all 4-5 points in chart form. Okay, that will be allowed, examiner will understand, but your chart all words should be quite clear, value loaded, key terms based. So it will lead to inequitable treatment, it will risk of arbitrariness, it will lead to potential abuse of power. Okay, then okay, this lead to lack of transparency and accountability, because discretionary power, if someone wants to use in abusive way, then he won't be wanting transparency, he won't be wanting accountability, he won't be wanting to be answerable to the people or public. Then unfairness and impartiality, and leads to nepotism. So all these words, guys, don't go on explaining. That examiner is sitting there with 30 years of experience in some as a professor in some university of public teaching public administration, pol science, etc. He would be knowing all these answers. So just imagine that if I am teaching this ethics for 9-10 years. So if I am checking your paper, will I not understand these terms? If I can understand these terms, then don't go on explaining, what we call don't go on doing mansplaining. Okay, just add this in charts, and through all these words I understand this is how discretionary power impacts governance and it is evil. So you finish this, then go to the next subheading. Why discretionary power, okay, is necessary? Why we need to give discretionary power? Why it is necessary? So yeah, these are the evils I acknowledge. Then in next subheading, so though discretionary powers have can turn into evil, we can't curtail the discretionary power. Still we need to give discretionary power to the bureaucracy, because discretionary power has lot of advantages, and these advantages far outweigh the cost. And these advantages are, then make the chart. Discretionary power, why necessary? So discretionary powers, guys, in any country like America, Europe, where there is a all population lies in a middle class bracket, everyone is educated, etc., then their government can work as only regulatory government. But in a country like India, which is developing, it has been found in public administration that giving discretionary power to the bureaucracy is of greater advantage. And so, don't go on explaining all these points. You have word limitation, add that in a chart. So, to realize the aim of welfare state and inclusive growth, you need to give discretionary powers. Then why we still need to give discretionary powers? Because situations are complex, dynamic, uncertain, of varying natures, like disaster management, mob management, okay, where you need to give discretionary powers to the person on the ground, IAS, IPS officers, IRS officers on the ground. Then provides flexibility, innovation, adaptability and responsiveness. Okay, so this is where I'm just discussing model answer with you, so I can't go on explaining this all concepts. In my app classes or in discretionary power ke concept mein, there I discussed this all very much in detail. So right now I'm just focusing on answer writing part. So I won't be going to link this all concepts, that how discretionary powers creates this leads to flexibility, adaptability, innovation, etc. But you directly write that in answer. Okay, as an examiner, I will understand what you have to say or want to say. So discrete power leads to flexibility in administration, it leads to innovativeness, it leads to adaptability. Administration adapts and evolves very fast. Okay, and it overall improves responsiveness. Timely actions, governance, decisions happen timely. It improves economy, it improves efficiency, it improves effectiveness. Okay, so new problems. Then why we still need to give discretionary power? 3-4 reasons I give. Along with that, there are some problems of a varying nature where they are without precedence or protocols. So new problems without precedence and protocols, then in that situation, okay, you need to give discretionary power, like COVID kind of pandemic, first thing happening in India. Yeah, for example, Nodebandi, okay, this demonetization. So such a thing which has not happened before, which are totally varying or new in nature, there is no protocol or precedence, we need to give discretionary powers. Okay, so for example, now Arvind Kejriwal is in jail, so chief minister is in jail. So what to do with the Delhi ka election of mayor? Okay, uske liye lieutenant governor is now have a discretionary power. So such a situations, to deal with that, we need to give a discretionary powers. Then laws are general, situations are dynamic. Laws are static, situations are dynamic. And so laws are general, situations are are specific and dynamic. And so law, if you general law, you try to fit in for the specific situation, for a dynamic situations, it will create lot of bad governance, and it will this law will rather turn into a terror if we forcefully go on implementing it. So laws are general, situations are dynamic, and to bridge the gap, we need this discretionary power. And then inability to foresee and predict future occurrences. Okay, so inability to predict and foresee future occurrences. So most of the time, guys, this situation, you won't be able to predict what will happen next, like army kind of situations. So there, okay, you have to give powers to the commanders on ground to take a decision very rapidly, where situation can evolve in a very unpredictable manner. And so whenever such a situations, to deal with that, okay, bureaucracy needs to be given discretionary powers. So this basic idea of discretionary powers, why it is necessary. So I will just add these words in a chart form. Okay, uska explanation I can't give you now because this is a model question answer discussion, so sorry for that. But right now I'm just going to giving you how to represent the answer and convey maximum through the chart. Okay, so don't go on explaining all these points. Okay, examiner will understand by reading your keywords very precisely what you have to say. Okay, so try to communicate more information instead of mansplaining to that person. So discrete power, why it is necessary. Now guys, steps to ensure it doesn't become evil. Okay, so now we discuss this conclusion ka part, solution ka part. So where we have discussed why it is evil, we have critically analyzed why it is necessary. Then find how to achieve the balance. Then it is necessary but should not turn into evil. Ab iska solution, then you will say curtail discretionary power, don't give such a stupid dumb solutions. if this is what we have to do, abolish discretionary power, then what's the point of this concept even discussing this in ethics paper? Okay, so be sensible while giving the solutions. Abolishing discretionary power is not the solution. Okay, because we can't define everything in law, we have to give discretionary powers. Okay, and that's why it is necessary, but it is evil. So your answer shouldn't be to curtail it, okay, and abolish discretionary power, but despite keeping it, how to administer and regulate it. And so first thing you have to do, introduce checks and balances. The way Supreme Court keeps checks and balances. Even governors take any administrative decision, discretionary decision, like giving releasing the criminals in this rape case that happened in Gujarat during those riots. Bilkis Bano ke rapist, when they were released, Supreme Court, even that was governor's discretion, it was supervised. So checks and balances, one mechanism. Now I can't go on explaining how these mechanisms work and how they lead to control over discretionary powers. Okay, that is for the lecture of discretionary power. Because we are discussing answer, I'm just giving you pointers. So write these pointers as a steps. Okay, then supervisory officers to carry out inspections. Okay, so supervisory officer write performance appraisal reports, etc. And there they have to write these comments on how their junior officer exercise discretionary power. So his promotions, appointments in future will be dependent on those inspections. So there you have to be very careful while writing. Then when now bureaucracy may juniors know that how I use discretionary power is going to go in my APR. Okay, they will be using those in a good way. Then damages must be awarded to the citizen if any bureaucrat misuses it, not from his own pocket, but government should pay. Government should take the accountability, accept the damages that happen to citizen because of their officer misusing discretionary power, and he should be paid the rewards. Automatically bureaucrats will behave properly. Then robust transparency and accountability. Now because you are using discretionary power, now Indian government has come up with RTI. Under RTI we can ask questions even about discretionary powers. Okay, you and me can ask governor of Gujarat that why Bilkis Bano rapists were released, what were the grounds on which decision was taken, and he has to answer. It's covered in RTI. So even discretionary powers use is under the purview of RTI. Then in that case, now bureaucracy knows, though it's my discretionary power, person can file RTI and I have to be answerable to him. There comes the accountability. So RTI improves transparency, accountability, and along with RTI you need more structures. Automatically it will lead to good governance or good use of discretionary powers. Then foundational and in-service training courses. Okay, you need to have foundational in-service training courses, and there you need to train the bureaucracy about use of discretionary powers. So 4 pointers may I will add solution, and then I will add some pointers regarding Indian government, steps taken by Indian government to deal with discretionary powers. Okay, so here you have in this Administrative Tribunals Act 1985, where bureaucrat who thinks about the discretionary powers he was treated unfairly, he can reach those administrative tribunals. Then Comptroller Auditor General of India conducts audits and examination of government's expenditures. Okay, जैसे 2G के scam के matter में the CAG inspected allocation of spectrum, and the way it was done by discretionary power. Okay, he audited that use of discretionary powers. Then Right to Information Act, I already told you. Then CVC conducts training programs of the bureaucrats regarding use of discretionary powers, that also. And then writ petition, public interest litigations, and judicial review proceedings, which come under checks and balances. So initial screen and this screen you can merge. Okay, and write that as your solution part, how we prevent it from being evil. Okay, so under checks and balances you can write writ petition, public interest litigations. Under accountability mechanism you write RTI. Under training programs you can write CVC ka this answer, and inspections वगैरह में you can write CAG का example and administrative tribunals का example. So I just wanted to give you separately steps taken by Indian government and in general broader guidelines. So till now we have introduced the concept, we have discussed why it is evil, how it turns evil, why it is necessary, and how we can achieve the balance. So then last एक 2-3 लाइन में 20-30 words में you can conclude this debate very sharply and conclude your answer. So conclusion में So discretionary powers per se is not evil. That's how you have to write. The discretionary powers per se is not evil. Rather, it is necessary to improve effectiveness of governance, to ensure good governance. Okay, and it can turn evil if it is not properly regulated. And regulation doesn't mean its reduction or abolishment. Okay, but rather proper regulation means doesn't no abolishment. Regulation means developing this checks and balances. And so, and along with that, write this unique concept, link it at a broader way, and write this concept. So in my app classes I discuss this in detail, the concept of Aristotle's rule of law and this rule of men. Okay, so in rule of law or rule of men में Aristotle advocate idea of rule of law, Plato rule of men. And so what Aristotle said, that men are beasts. So same way the bureaucrats, not necessary he might score very good marks in ethics paper but still can be very unethical bureaucrat. That can happen, but then we can't have rule for every situation. And so okay, rule of law, rule of men का जो debate है उसका balance we have achieved in the form of discretionary powers. Okay, and so need to achieve fair balance between rule of law and rule of men. Okay, wherever possible we should have a rule of law, but where beyond that, when existence of law will be more problematic in governance, we need to give discretionary powers. Okay, and which has to be regulated through a steps advised in the answer. So how you will write the conclusion? Okay, so in a conclusion, okay, rule of law and rule of men is a old debate in political science or in public administration. And so we need to achieve fair balance between rule of law and rule of men that we have achieved in administration through the concept of discretionary powers. Okay, but this discretionary power can sometime turn evil if it is not regulated. Okay, so that's why we need to regulate it, but regulation doesn't mean its abolishment. Okay, it has to be regulated as per the steps advised or discussed in the answer. Okay, so little bit I have given you in a broader way this answer, but you can omit out some points and write your answer in sharp standard word limit may you try to fit in the answer. Okay, so that's just one model question I wanted to discuss with you. So thanks for listening guys, and stay tuned to my YouTube channel. So guys, on my Darshanik IAS, check out my other strategy based videos and other videos regarding essay writing, and also join me on UPSC Ethics for Telegram channel to get those notes that I will be sharing there, all those PDFs. And download my app from the Darshanik by Kadam Sir from Google Play App Store. Link is given below in the description. Okay, and there I have launched my comprehensive ethics course, which is already available, and essay courses will also be available. And also I will be taking prelims history, ancient, medieval, modern, world history, art, architecture, etc. from prelim means perspective. So you don't have to study anything else other than my history courses. So my those history courses and essay and ethics courses will be one-stop solution for all your needs. So thanks for listening guys, and stay tuned.